How do you maintain your inner peace and control when dealing with challenging individuals? Today, 11 smart ways to deal with toxic people. Let's go. Acknowledge your control. Understanding and applying the Stoic principle of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot is a life-changing perspective. Let's talk about this as if we're sharing a moment of honest reflection. You see, in life, we often face situations and people that can be described as toxic. These are circumstances or interactions that drain our energy and detract from our well-being. Now, I want to guide you through a thought process that can help transform how you deal with these situations based on the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. The first thing Stoicism teaches us is the importance of recognizing our sphere of control. Picture two circles, one small circle inside a larger one. The small circle contains things within your control, your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. The larger circle, however, is full of things outside your control, other people's actions, the weather, or the past. The core of Stoic wisdom lies in focusing your energy on that smaller circle. Why? Because that's where your power truly lies. Now, imagine someone who's being difficult or a situation that's testing your patience. Your natural reaction might be frustration or anger, totally normal human emotions. But here's where we apply our Stoic understanding. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then it's time to redirect your focus. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but rather understanding that your power lies in your response, not in the situation itself. This perspective is not about passivity, it's about active engagement with what truly matters. When you start practicing this, you're not ignoring the problem. You're choosing to engage on your terms. You decide not to let external factors dictate your peace of mind. This is incredibly empowering. It doesn't happen overnight, but with practice, you'll find yourself more at peace and less at the mercy of the world around you. By embracing this approach, you're not just avoiding unnecessary stress, you're also cultivating a more serene and positive mindset. This shift in focus can lead to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. You begin to understand that while you can't control someone's toxic behavior, you can control how much you let it affect you. This doesn't mean you're indifferent. It means you're choosing where to invest your emotional energy wisely. This way of thinking can also lead to a ripple effect in your life. As you become more centered and less reactive, you'll likely find your relationships and daily interactions becoming more positive. People might even start to respond to you differently because they sense your calm and composed demeanor. Remember, adopting this Stoic approach is a journey, not a one-time fix. It's about gradual improvement in daily choices. Start small. Next time you encounter a frustrating situation, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, remind yourself that your peace of mind comes from your reaction, not the situation itself. This simple practice can be a powerful tool in building a more resilient and joyful life. So, my friend, as you navigate the challenges of life, remember this Stoic wisdom. Embrace what you can control, release what you cannot, and watch as your life transforms in the most beautiful way. Maintain perspective. Understanding and maintaining perspective, especially when dealing with toxic people, is a profound teaching of Stoic philosophy that can transform our daily interactions and overall well-being. Imagine you're standing on a vast, sprawling beach. Each grain of sand represents a thought, a person, or an event in the vast expanse of human experience. Now think of the toxic person or behavior as just a single grain among billions. This visualization helps you grasp the Stoic idea of perspective, recognizing the minimal impact one person or incident should have on the vast landscape of your life. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus, taught that we should focus on the bigger picture. When someone's behavior affects us negatively, it's easy to get wrapped up in frustration or anger. However, by stepping back and viewing the situation from a wider lens, we realize that this moment is just a tiny part of our life's journey. This doesn't mean dismissing your feelings or the wrong done to you, but understanding that this singular moment or person's influence is limited, unless you give it more power. Now, how can we apply this in practical terms? First, when you find yourself getting upset or agitated by someone's toxic behavior, pause. Take a deep breath. Imagine zooming out and seeing your life as a whole, and then place this incident or person in that broader context. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years or even in 1 year? Most times you'll realize the insignificance of this moment in the grand scheme of your life. Furthermore, maintaining perspective allows us to separate the person from their behavior. Remember, people often act out of their own struggles, fears, or insecurities. Their behavior says more about them than about you. This doesn't excuse their actions, but it can help you respond with compassion rather than anger, protecting your peace. By consistently practicing this shift in perspective, you'll find that your reactions to negative people or situations become more measured and less emotionally charged. This doesn't happen overnight. Like any skill, it requires practice. Start small, perhaps with minor annoyances or inconveniences, and gradually work up to bigger challenges. The beauty of this approach is that it not only helps you deal with toxic people more effectively, but also enhances your overall sense of peace and happiness. When you don't allow external factors to disrupt your inner tranquility, you remain in control of your emotions and reactions. This empowers you to lead a more fulfilling and stoic life, rooted in what truly matters. Finally, embracing this perspective cultivates a deeper sense of empathy and understanding towards others, including those who may be causing distress. It reminds us that we're all human, navigating our own challenges and growth. By applying the Stoic principle of maintaining perspective, you not only safeguard your inner peace, but also open the door to more meaningful and compassionate interactions. This change, though subtle at first, can profoundly impact your life and the lives of those around you, fostering a more harmonious and understanding environment for everyone. Remember, in the grand tapestry of your life, you have the power to choose which threads you allow to color your days. Set boundaries. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, setting boundaries is not about building walls, but about drawing lines in the sand that help us maintain our peace and integrity. It's about knowing what is acceptable in our interactions and what crosses the line into discomfort or disrespect. This concept is incredibly relevant today, where we are constantly bombarded by diverse personalities and sometimes toxic behavior. Firstly, understand that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect. It's acknowledging that your mental and emotional well-being are important and worth protecting. This isn't selfish, it's necessary. In the Stoic view, we must focus on what is within our power, our actions, thoughts, and reactions. We cannot control others, but we can control how much we allow them to influence our peace. Think about what makes you feel uncomfortable, stressed, or upset in interactions with others. Is it constant negativity, disrespect, or intrusive demands? Recognizing these feelings is the first step. Then, calmly and firmly, communicate your limits. This doesn't have to be confrontational. It's simply stating what you need, such as more space, respect in conversations, or not discussing certain topics. Remember, it's not about changing the other person. That's outside your control, but about stating what you can and cannot accept. Setting boundaries can lead to pushback. That's where your Stoic resilience comes in. Remind yourself that your peace of mind is worth defending. If someone reacts negatively, it's a reflection of their own issues, not a failure on your part. Your worth is not dependent on others' approval. By holding your ground, you're practicing one of Stoicism's core principles, focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. Implementing these boundaries will not only improve your relationships, but also your self-esteem and happiness. You'll find that by not allowing toxic behavior to penetrate your peace, you'll have more energy and positivity for the things that truly matter. You'll also teach others how to treat you, setting a standard for respectful and healthy interactions. It's crucial, however, to maintain these boundaries with compassion and understanding. Everyone has their struggles, and sometimes toxic behavior is a misguided attempt to deal with pain. While this doesn't excuse their actions, understanding this can help you approach the situation with empathy, reducing anger and resentment. Remember, setting boundaries is a continuous process. It requires self-reflection, honesty, and sometimes the courage to make tough decisions. But the peace and respect you cultivate in your life are worth it. As you practice this, you're not just protecting yourself. You're cultivating a life that aligns with Stoic ideals, a life of tranquility, dignity, and wisdom. Finally, embrace the journey of setting boundaries as a form of personal growth. It's about becoming more in tune with your values, needs, and well-being. Each step you take is a step towards a more peaceful and fulfilling life. As a friend on this journey, I assure you, the strength and serenity you develop through this practice will be invaluable, not just in dealing with toxic people, but in navigating the complex and beautiful landscape of human relationships. Choose your battles. In Stoic philosophy, the idea of choosing your battles wisely is a powerful tool for navigating life, particularly when dealing with toxic people. This principle isn't about avoiding all conflicts or retreating from challenges. Instead, it's about discerning which situations warrant your energy and which do not. This discernment is crucial in maintaining your peace and focus. Imagine you're in a garden. Every plant represents different aspects of your life: your relationships, career, health, and personal growth. Now imagine that conflicts or interactions with toxic people are like weeds. Some weeds are big and threaten the health of your garden, needing immediate attention. Others are small and insignificant, unlikely to cause much harm. Choosing your battles is like deciding which weeds to pull out. If you spend all your time on the small, inconsequential ones, you'll exhaust yourself and neglect the plants that matter. Now let's apply this to real-life interactions. When someone's behavior impacts you negatively, ask yourself, is this situation crucial to my well-being or goals? If the answer is no, it might be a battle not worth engaging in. This doesn't mean you're weak or indifferent. It means you're strategic about where you invest your emotional and mental resources. By doing so, you preserve your energy for matters that truly contribute to your growth and happiness. Moreover, choosing your battles wisely is about recognizing that you can't change everyone. Some people may never align with your values or respect your boundaries, no matter how much you argue or try to persuade them. In these cases, engaging in a conflict can be like watering the weeds. It only feeds the negativity. Instead, by stepping back, you allow yourself the space to focus on positive influences and relationships that enrich your life. Now consider the impact of applying this approach. First, it leads to a more peaceful life. You'll find yourself less embroiled in unnecessary drama and more focused on actions and relationships that bring joy and fulfillment. This shift not only improves your mood and energy levels, but also sets a positive example for those around you. People often respond to the energy we emit. By choosing peace and positivity, you encourage others to do the same. Moreover, this approach fosters personal growth. Each time you choose your battles wisely, you practice self-control, a key Stoic virtue. This self-control enhances your ability to respond rather than react to situations, a skill that is invaluable in all aspects of life. In embracing this principle, remember that it's a journey. There will be moments of frustration or lapse in judgment, and that's okay. Each day offers a new opportunity to practice choosing your battles wisely. By doing so, you honor yourself, your well-being, and your journey towards a more fulfilling life. Focus on positive influences. Imagine you're walking through a garden. In this garden, there are a variety of plants. Some radiate beautiful colors and fragrances, while others are wilted or have thorns. In life, like in this garden, we encounter different types of people. Some uplift us, inspiring and filling our days with joy, while others can drain our energy, leaving us feeling depleted. This is where the wisdom of Stoic philosophy shines through, especially when we talk about focusing on positive influences. Stoic philosophy teaches us about the importance of surrounding ourselves with positivity, likening it to nurturing the soul with wholesome experiences and relationships. It's about recognizing that just as we have a choice over which plants we water in our garden, we also have a choice over whom we spend our time with. This isn't about avoiding all negative interactions, as that's impossible, but rather about making a conscious decision to spend more of our energy on people who enrich our lives. You might wonder, how can I apply this in my daily life? Start by evaluating your current relationships. Reflect on who makes you feel positive, motivated, and valued. These are the people you want to invest more in. Conversely, consider those who leave you feeling drained or upset. While you can't always avoid them, you can decide how much of your time and emotional energy you want to dedicate to them. Implementing this shift may not be easy at first. It requires practice and patience. Begin with small steps. Perhaps start by planning regular meetups with a friend who uplifts you, or joining a group that shares your positive interests. As you do this, observe the changes in your mood and outlook. This approach aligns with the Stoic practice of focusing on what we can control. We can't change other people, but we can control whom we choose to be around. By choosing to spend more time with positive influences, we're not just enhancing our mood in the short term. We're also cultivating a more enriching environment for ourselves, one that fosters growth, peace, and resilience. Moreover, when we surround ourselves with positive influences, we become better equipped to handle life's challenges. Stoicism teaches us that our character and inner peace are influenced by our surroundings. Being around positive people helps us maintain our serenity and stay focused on what truly matters. It reminds us of the beauty in life, encourages us to be our best selves, and supports us in practicing gratitude and kindness. Remember, focusing on positive influences is a journey, not a one-time choice. It's about gradually building a life that reflects your values and what you aspire to be. By doing so, you're not only improving your own life, but also becoming a beacon of positivity for others. In a world that can often feel overwhelming, your choice to focus on the good becomes a radical act of self-care and a gift to those around you. So take a moment today to think about your own garden. Which relationships nurture you? Which drain you? Begin to nurture those connections that bring light into your life and watch how they, in turn, help your own light shine brighter. Practice forgiveness. Absolutely, let's dive deeper into the practice of forgiveness from a Stoic perspective. Forgiveness, especially within the framework of Stoic philosophy, is more about freeing yourself than condoning someone else's behavior. Imagine you're carrying a backpack full of stones, each representing a grudge or a negative feeling you hold against someone. Now think about the unnecessary weight you're bearing. Stoicism teaches us that these burdens are choices, and we have the power to set them down. By choosing to forgive, you're not saying what happened was okay, but you're deciding not to let it weigh down your spirit any longer. Now, forgiving doesn't mean you ignore the harm done or pretend everything is fine. It's about acknowledging the hurt while also understanding that holding on to anger harms you more than the person who hurt you. It's a shift from being a victim to becoming a victor of your emotions. Remember, the goal of Stoicism is not to suppress or ignore emotions, but to understand and manage them logically. Consider the concept of amor fati, a Latin phrase that Stoics use, meaning love of fate. It's the idea that every experience, good or bad, is part of your life's fabric and can be turned to your advantage. By forgiving, you embrace this concept, turning bitterness into wisdom. You're not just moving on, you're growing stronger and more resilient. But how do you start this process? Begin by reflecting on the situation calmly. Try to understand the other person's actions from their point of view. They, like you, are subject to flaws and external pressures. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help you understand it. Next, consciously decide to let go of your anger. It might not happen instantly, but setting the intention is a powerful first step. Visualize setting down that heavy backpack and how much lighter you feel without it. Implementing this in your daily life can profoundly impact your mental and emotional well-being. You'll find yourself less burdened by past hurts and more focused on the present and future. Relationships can heal and improve when you approach them with a spirit of forgiveness. Plus, letting go of grudges frees up a tremendous amount of energy that you can redirect toward positive, life-affirming activities. Remember, practicing forgiveness is for you. It's about giving yourself the gift of peace, moving forward with your life, and not letting others' actions dictate your happiness. By adopting this approach, you align more closely with the Stoic ideal of focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Be gentle with yourself as you embark on this journey. Forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It might require patience and repeated effort, but the peace and freedom it brings are well worth it. Think of it as an act of self-love and respect. By forgiving, you're not only improving your life, but also setting a powerful example for others. So, take that step, lighten your load, and walk a path filled with more peace, understanding, and resilience. Lead by example. Imagine you're walking through a bustling market, one filled with all sorts of characters, each with their own stories, desires, and struggles. Now imagine one of these individuals begins to spread negativity, criticizing everything and everyone around them, including you. It's easy to get drawn into their storm, to react with anger or annoyance. But what if, instead, you chose to lead by example, embodying the tranquility and resilience of a Stoic philosopher amidst the chaos? This is where our seventh point, lead by example, inspired by Stoic philosophy, comes into play. Stoicism teaches us the power of living according to our principles and showing others a path to serenity and reason, without preaching, simply by being. Let's break this down. Leading by example isn't about being perfect or never facing challenges. It's about how you respond to those challenges. In the face of toxicity, a Stoic chooses not to react with frustration or retaliation. Instead, they maintain their composure, responding with calmness and understanding. This doesn't just protect your peace. It can also serve as a silent lesson to the toxic individual and those around you. Imagine again, in that bustling market, instead of responding to negativity with the same, you stay calm, maybe even offer a kind word or simply walk away with dignity. Others will notice. The person spreading negativity might not change immediately, but your actions plant seeds of positivity and self-reflection in everyone who witnesses them. But how can you practically apply this in your daily life? It starts with small steps. Begin by observing your reactions in challenging situations. Ask yourself, is my response reflective of the person I aspire to be? If not, take a deep breath and try a different approach, one that aligns with your values and the calm demeanor of a Stoic. Remember, leading by example is also about consistency. It's not just a one-time act, but a way of living. This means regularly practicing kindness, patience, and understanding, even when it feels difficult. Over time, this consistent behavior becomes a beacon of light for others, especially those who are caught in their own cycles of negativity. This approach can profoundly impact your life and the lives of those around you. It fosters an environment of respect and understanding, reduces stress, and encourages positive interactions. Instead of contributing to a cycle of toxicity, you're breaking it, creating a ripple effect of positivity. By leading by example, you also set a standard for what you accept in your life. You teach others how you wish to be treated, not through demands or confrontations, but through your behavior. This empowers you and gives you control over your environment and relationships. In essence, leading by example is about embodying the change you wish to see. It's a powerful Stoic approach to dealing with toxic people, transforming potential conflicts into opportunities for growth and positivity. So the next time you encounter negativity, remember that your strongest response is your own serene and understanding demeanor. This is your shield and your teaching tool, one that not only protects you but also guides others towards a more positive way of living. Seek understanding. Understanding the root of toxic behavior is an integral step in dealing with difficult people, and it's a concept deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed in looking beneath the surface of things to understand their true nature. When applying this to human behavior, especially that which we perceive as toxic or negative, it invites us to step back and see the bigger picture. When we encounter someone whose actions or words are harmful or challenging, Our immediate reaction might be to respond with anger, frustration, or withdrawal. However, embracing a Stoic approach means pausing and considering why this person might be acting this way. Often, toxic behavior stems from underlying issues such as fear, insecurity, or past trauma. People might not even be aware of how their actions affect others, trapped in their cycle of negative behavior. By seeking to understand the root causes of someone's toxic behavior, you're not excusing their actions but rather approaching the situation with empathy and insight. This doesn't mean you have to solve their problems or tolerate unacceptable behavior. Instead, understanding can inform how you set boundaries and interact with them, helping to protect your peace while also acknowledging their humanity. Applying this in practice involves a few steps. First, when you encounter toxic behavior, give yourself a moment to breathe and detach. Remember, you're observing the situation, not getting engulfed by it. Next, try to consider what factors might be driving this person's behavior. Are they under stress? Do they have unmet needs or unresolved issues? This perspective can shift how you view the situation, reducing immediate feelings of anger or hurt and fostering a more balanced response. Implementing this approach can profoundly impact your life. Firstly, it can reduce the stress and emotional turmoil that often accompanies interactions with difficult people. Instead of getting caught in a cycle of negative reactions, you'll find a space of calm and clarity from which to respond. Secondly, it can improve relationships. Even if the toxic person doesn't change, your changed response can alter the dynamics, sometimes encouraging positive changes in them as well. Moreover, adopting this understanding and empathetic outlook aligns you more closely with your values and the kind of person you aspire to be. It fosters a sense of inner peace and strength, knowing that your happiness and tranquility are not at the mercy of others' behavior. Instead, you're choosing to respond with understanding and compassion, which in turn can inspire those around you. Remember, seeking to understand does not mean you have to endure harmful situations or relationships. It's about gaining insight that can inform your actions, helping you to navigate difficult interactions more effectively and with greater peace of mind. By embodying this approach, you're not just dealing with toxic people, you're cultivating resilience, empathy, and understanding, enriching your life and the lives of those around you. Limit expectations. Understanding and managing your expectations, especially when dealing with toxic people, is like navigating a ship through stormy seas. The ancient Stoics teach us that we don't control the storm, but we do control how we steer the ship. In the context of modern life, this means acknowledging that the actions and attitudes of others are outside our control, including those of toxic individuals. Yet what we can control is our expectations towards these individuals and situations. Let's begin by acknowledging a simple truth. Expecting toxic people to change simply because we want them to is like expecting the storm to calm at our command. It's an exercise in futility and a source of unnecessary distress. The Stoic approach advises us to instead focus on our internal responses and attitudes. This shift in focus is not about lowering your standards or accepting poor treatment, but about grounding your peace and happiness in what you can control. To practically apply this, start by observing your expectations in interactions with challenging individuals. Are you expecting them to understand you completely, to change overnight, or to always act reasonably? These are natural desires, but they're not always realistic, especially in toxic dynamics. Recognize these expectations for what they are, external factors beyond your complete control. Now consider reshaping those expectations. Remind yourself that while you can offer kindness, understanding, and patience, the other person's reactions and changes are their responsibility, not yours. This doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. Rather, you choose to invest your energy wisely in what truly matters and what you can influence: your actions, your responses, and your well-being. By adjusting your expectations, you protect your inner peace from being constantly disturbed by others' actions. This is the heart of Stoic wisdom, finding serenity in acknowledging and working within the boundaries of what you can control. When you stop expecting the toxic person to be different, you free yourself from continuous disappointment and frustration. Instead, you can focus on cultivating your virtues, like patience, resilience, and empathy, which enrich your character and life regardless of others' behaviors. This approach also leads to a more compassionate and understanding viewpoint. Seeing toxic behavior as a manifestation of someone's struggles rather than a personal attack allows you to respond with calmness and clarity, not out of reactive emotion. This doesn't justify their actions, but it helps you to respond from a place of strength and composure. Embracing Stoic principles to manage expectations doesn't mean overnight transformation. It's a journey of small, consistent steps towards understanding what is within your power and what is not. Each step forward is a victory over the chaos that toxic relationships can bring into your life. By centering your expectations around your own actions and reactions, you cultivate a resilient and tranquil heart, one that can weather any storm with grace and dignity. Remember, my friend, that in the vast expanse of life, the only constant is change. By anchoring your expectations not in the shifting sands of others' actions, but in the solid ground of your own values and responses, you navigate life's storms, not just with endurance, but with ease and grace. This isn't just about dealing with toxic people. It's about creating a life where your peace and happiness are unshakable regardless of the turmoil around you.